Alexa, ask Malone to dispense 2.5 cups of water at 110 degrees. And then she will say, let me run the water to warm it up. When the water stops, wave your hand over the faucet to dispense 2.5 cups of water at 110 degrees. How wild is that?
Watch and or listen while we tackle tough and sometimes taboo topics filmed live over drinks. This platform allows us to articulate our thoughts and challenge our beliefs. This is SipTalk. Grab a drink and enjoy.
All right, we are live. Welcome to SipTalk, episode 270. My name is Justin DiGiulio, creator of SipTalk, taker over of SipTalk. In our SipTalk headquarters, the internet, joined by Jorge Barrios, real estate extraordinaire, and Rome Gray, soon to be legal name, marketing expert for DiGiulio Real Estate. And today we're talking about the future. A boring topic if you've listened to our several other episodes. Today we're going to spice it up a little bit. We're going to be talking about the future and what it's going to look like, and trying to avoid talking about the future through the lens of today. That's going to be the challenge for today's conversation. So what I'm going to challenge, we've got a series of questions for you guys to imagine what things are going to look like and be like in the future. The idea of not looking at it through the lens of today is by not using things that we have today in the future. Okay, so I'm trying to give you an example. A movie that did a really good job at this was Minority. They invented a whole bunch of things that just didn't exist. But if you look at an 80s movie that's supposed to take place in like the year 2025 or the year 2012, they'll be like driving a car. Inside the car will be screens, but not like a flat touch screen like we have now. It'll be like a CRT television screen, like implanted in the dashboard, right? Which is obviously because you're looking at it, you're like, oh, TVs will be everywhere. No, TVs won't be everywhere. You'll have touch screen surface devices, right? So now if we try to design the future, we're like, yeah, there's gonna be touch screens everywhere. No, there's not. There's not even gonna be physical screens, right? There'll be some way to make a hologram onto something. But that's what I'm saying. Is like let's try to look at the future without blurring it through our lens the way we see things today. I'll give you another example. In the early 1900s, they were people trying to imagine what the year 2000 would look like. Here's what they imagined transportation to be like. You have a boat that turns into a land vessel. Okay, so what does the boat do? No, does not turn into a car. It turned into a train and merged onto train tracks because that's what transportation was back then. Nobody would have seen, what was automobile? Automobiles were invented in the early 1900s, right? Yeah. So in the year 1900, they didn't even have automobiles. They had trains. So they imagined that transportation would just be this easy way to get from water travel to rail travel like this. Never even accounted for a mechanical horse, which would effectively be a motorcycle, something like that. But again, that's a challenge for today. Any real estate credits you'd like to add on your behalf, Jorge? What do you have going on right now? What's your background? So I did a kind of piss poor introduction. Sorry.
That's okay.
So make sure you're speaking up because we have one mic over here.
Actually, I just joined Double 2 months ago with my career, starting at Oxford Proper, starting with the one and only Justin DiGiulio. He was a mentor, very great mentor, and I was able to join the sales team at Oxford, and then slowly and surely made ourselves to Douglas Elliman, one of the top teams.
You're a sales agent. You're a sales agent. That's what you're working on, right?
Yeah.
Doing sales. That's exciting. Well, what's going on with you, my friend?
Yeah, a lot. Still in pre-production for this film. I've been writing for like my entire adult life. Making strides on that. Our producer flew off to Dubai for a month, though, so that postponed shooting. I'm helping a friend grow a new business.
Are you?
Yeah. It's this lovely little startup brokerage called DiGiulio. Yeah.
Rome is helping with the marketing, even though most of his ideas I shit on. They're good ideas.
Work in progress.
They're good ideas. It's just I don't know. Some focus. We got to focus on the right things.
I feel like Justin is just always looking through the lens of wherever he was.
Oh, he thinks I'm old. What he's saying is he thinks I'm old. All right. On that note, let's pivot a little bit. Let's talk about the future. Okay. So my question to you is, what does a car look like in 5 years? 5 years is not that far out. Cars can't be changing that much. What does a car look like? Because think about what a car looked like 5 years ago. Now, you've got, first off, one big thing I notice now about any cars since basically 2022, because I'd say 2019 and 20, they were first starting to change. There's no dials or gauges. It's all screen.
Yeah.
All screen. Okay, so you don't actually have a dial that's connected to anything. It's all computer, some type of sensor that's on whatever's going on. You got a screen. What else would differently put cars 5 years ago?
Now, none of the cars have, what's it called?
Oh, a shifter.
Yeah, none of the shifters.
There are no shifters. Yeah, there's a knob or a button that you put yourself in park or in reverse.
Yeah.
Right.
The button might go.
What's that?
I think the button might go. Not the button might
No,
go.
but you just voice activated reverse.
Not even that. Like just
Audi reverse.
AI embedded in all of it. It does it for you.
Well, so that's the other thing is 5 years. I think, despite a pretty well played argument, is that autonomous cars will not be that prevalent. I actually think that whether we want them or they're good or bad, I think that the manufacturers are really kind of going to be pushing for automated cars. Which, ultimately, the thing about automated cars is that until 98% of vehicles are automated cars are dumber and going to have more accidents.
Yeah.
Okay? Because an automated car trying to predict human behavior in another vehicle is very, very difficult. But when you have two automated cars, they work together, right? So if you're 10 feet ahead of me and about to come to a screeching halt, there's no reaction time. I also come to a screeching halt and never hit you, okay? If you are 25 feet ahead of me doing 70 miles an hour and slam on the brake, by the time that hits my eyeball and then hits my brain, and then I actually have to take action with my foot, I've already hit you. Right?
I think the AI is much faster than we are.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But the thing is, if I'm in front of a self-driving car, it's still going to have to react to some degree. But if I'm a self-driving car in front of a self-driving car, they're in the system together. So whatever the front car does, the car behind it is going to be connected and almost instantaneously, speed of light, going to be able to take the same action as the car in front of it. So that's why I think they're really going to push to have as many automated cars.
I'd rather be in the AI car in that situation.
So here's what I'm thinking, is that we're going to have self-driving cars in 5 years. And there's going to be a lot more cars, not without a shift knob, okay, but without a steering. Because they're already doing this in California, in LA. I'm pretty sure in LA, you can get like self-driving Uber and things like
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna say that.
Which to me seems wild. I'm not ready for that.
I don't know if you've seen it, but right now Siri, the new iPhone 16, it has AI as well. Every time you speak,
You speak up.
Siri's being used for AI. So it's cool because every time I'm in the morning and I open up my maps, it already knows where I'm going.
Oh,
To your
yeah.
office, it says, take this route to go to your office in Brooklyn. Take this route to go to Manhattan office. So I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't know I was going to Manhattan on Wednesday. You're right. So, right.
On Wednesday, that caught me off guard the other day. Usually it tells me how long it's going to take me to get home.
Yeah.
And then the last couple of Fridays, I picked up my son, and last Friday, it gave me like a totally different time. And I was like, that's not how long it usually takes to get home. And I looked, it's like, oh, it knows I'm not going home today.
Exactly.
And I've only done it 2 weeks in a row. How wild is that? All right, so I would say we're going to see a lot more of that integrated into cars. I think it's probably already happening. The cars are set up to do that. So you get in the car, instead of your phone telling you, the car is going to tell you. So if the shift knob disappears, because say there's going to need to be some driver input, I don't know that steering wheels will disappear. I think it's going to happen really fast. But also there will be a removable steering wheel where you'll be able to just use the space as a desk, right? Or you got your driver's seat, passenger seat. I'll bet you will see this. Actually, this is pretty cool. I'll bet what you're going to see are driver's seats that do this. Not this, but this. So you can talk to the passenger, right? I can see these things in 5 years.
Or pretty cool. Not in 5 years. I think I'm jumping more like the 25 years of it, just like no screens, just holograms.
What do you mean?
There's no. You sit in your car and just a light hits you.
So that was the thing about Minority Report is that they just had like glass panels and projected images. You put these gloves on and you can kind of touch what's going on. Although short-sightedness, probably you're not going to need fucking gloves because it's going to sense your fingers. Why would you? It's going to be able to track your fingers. In Minority Report, you had to have gloves because the gloves showed where your hands were. Now a camera would just know each of your digits, right?
They actually already did that. They did away with the steering wheel. Mercedes has this. I don't know what you call it. It's just like this. It's like a mock-up version of something. It's like a theoretical, but they built it. It's just and it's just this little palm thing that controls the whole car. Like imagine if you took the stick, right, just like flatten it out, and you just move that around.
So like you had this tactical interface, like a trackball mouse or something.
But that was the only control you had in the car.
Yeah. So
yeah,
they're going to look and feel somewhat similar. Okay. But what about 10 years? Now I'm thinking 10 years, 90% of the vehicles. Think about what percentage of cars right now are electric. I feel like 40 to 50%, and probably depending on where you are in the country.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're probably in like the countryside, people drive a lot more pickup trucks.
I'm in the city, pretty sure it's to a camera.
A lot of Camrys here, a lot of Teslas here. I'm always surprised by the number of cars that pass me, not because I drive slow, because I drive careful. I'm always surprised whether they pass me or not when I look behind the car and there's no tailpipes. Or if you look in front of the car and there's no air intake. Right, yeah, we have issues with focusing on this camera, that's for sure. So today's meeting is sponsored by Jorge, who generally comes by with beer for us. We were going to go for Guinness today, but I figured you're Ecuadorian. Yeah. Ecuadorian. This is Ecuador. Is there big Ecuadorian beer?
No.
Is it just Mexican beer?
Yeah. There's a liquor from Ecuador. It's called Shumir. And it's very strong. And it's like gasoline. If I ever go back to Ecuador,
you gotta bring. I'm very curious.
It's if you ever hang out with Colombian, they'll use something called aguardiente.
Yeah.
It's something similar to that, but it's called Shumir.
Aguardiente definitely tastes like gasoline.
Yeah.
There's not like you can have some rough tequilas, but good tequila has a good flavor. You have a rough whiskey, but you can have good whiskey. I've never had a fine bottle of aguardiente.
No, there is.
Is that a brand or it's a type of liquor?
I honestly don't know. I was with this Colombian girl and she told me about it. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna drink it. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, oh, they don't have Colombian aguardiente, but they have Ecuadorian. And I'm like, Ecuadorian, and they brought Shumir. And I was like, oh, this is what they drink from there. I'm like, yeah, it's the same thing. But they both tasted horrible.
All right, 10 years. So I'm going to say in 10 years. I just think the user input is decreasing. Okay? And think about it. Back in the day, you had to hand crank start the car. Okay? And you got in the car, you had the clutch, you had all these, there's a lot more going on. Okay? And now the hand crank is gone, you have an electric starter motor, right? And even push button, you don't have to turn the key, you push the button, which I like turning keys. And then you had manual transmission where you had the clutch, and you had the shift, and now almost every car, even in Europe, it's trendy. Most cars are automatic, and basically what you're doing is lessened and lessened with every iteration of the new vehicles. So I'm thinking, like half the time, I'll bet you pretty soon when you get in the car, it already has a default of where you're going. Right? The maps already know where I'm likely to go.
That's what I'm saying. Every time I start in the car and it's Saturday, it's already telling me, like, okay, you're going to go to the mall. It tells me exactly where I'm going.
Must be nice. You hope Saturdays just going to the mall. I'm going to the office on Saturday. It's going to be hard. The trend's got to break at some point. This guy just goes to the office every day. Yeah, so I think steering wheels probably by 10 years. Very few cars will have a steering wheel. It might be optional.
You think so?
No, I think the trend is just going to be away from people driving cars.
Yeah.
What about no more gas pedals, just brake pedals, and automatically where you're driving? Since AI is being so, like you said, you just sit in the car and say, okay, you're going to the office. They don't know the speed limits in every single spot.
So
like you go to the school zone and your car automatically
it goes 25 miles an hour or 15 in New York City. Yeah.
That's a school zone.
So here's what I'm thinking. At a certain point, the pedals are going to disappear. But do they disappear simultaneously?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe
Or does the gas pedal disappear first? Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. Yeah, and then because people want that control of the brake, right? Which is going to be stupid because you're going to be playing like fucking Candy Crush. Oh shit! And slam on the brake. but I bet you'll also the entertainment is got to get better in car. There's going to be maybe a problem showing your roster. There might be a problem showing your daily activity in your car when crime investigations start. Oh.
Not even that. I was thinking about like imagine you're with your girl and it says go to Katie's place. And I'm like, you're not Katie. Oh hey Angela. Like fuck.
So the thing is, yeah, with all it's going to become a lot harder to do illegal things. Speeding, right? Robbing banks. I don't think you can do anything. I can't imagine robbing a bank. Okay? Because first off, there's going to be footage of you in the bank. Okay, you have a mask on, all right, but there's going to be footage of you somewhere on the street walking up to that bank. Okay, and even if you have a mask on or you're somehow, there's going to be footage of you leaving a subway. At least in New York City, you know, maybe in other areas it's probably maybe more possible. But you're so easy to track you, right? And then even if they can't identify your face, they can identify your gait, like how you walk, right? And then also, yeah, you have some electronic wearable device on you.
I won't be surprised. They're like, oh, this person signed into our IP address at 12:30 p.m. and exited at 12:45. That's the exact same time someone robbed our bank. Find the IP address right now. We'll find the device.
Who owns it? All right, let's move on from because I got 25 years and then 50 years, but in 25 years, what is a car going to look like?
I don't think there's going to be a steering wheel. I don't think there's going to be a gas pedal. I just think maybe you just sit in, I don't know if you see the shades like you mentioned, but they're just like these weird, like,
I gotta show you.
and you just sit down there and you say, take me to 237 Smith Street, my office.
Look,
And it automatically just receive.
so look,
And like you said, 25 years, it'll all most likely be just electronic vehicles, and most of the cars will just be
listen.
full AI. Yeah, things like those like futuristic cars.
All right, so cars right now have four wheels made out of rubber because they need to stick to asphalt. Asphalt, again, this is where I'm challenging you to not look at the future through the lens of today. We're all imagining vehicles that drive on asphalt. What has been the upgrade for roads over the last 100 years? Dirt to gravel to asphalt?
Yeah, but then who knows later on, and so in the future, they change all that into something more.
We come up with some compound that makes them last longer.
What if they're not on the ground anymore?
What's that?
If they're not on the ground anymore.
Well, then exactly, potentially you're hovering or you're flying. Right? The downside of hovering is braking is more difficult. The downside of flying is it's fucking loud. Right?
Yeah,
The issue with flying is it's loud.
They can figure that out.
yeah, but have you seen the
The
electronic?
Rolls-Royce Spectre, that car is silent. You can hear the
It
leaves
doesn't
rushing.
fly. It doesn't fly.
Yes, but
But
it's,
who
they
knows
put
in
600
25 years they won't fix it.
You know what I'm saying? They put 600 extra pounds of padding into that car to make it silent. I think they can do that. Like, they can figure that out.
The question is,
if they can make them fly in the car, they can probably make sure to find a way to make it
Make it
super
quiet. Yeah.
what's the line? What's the line in Back to the Future? Roads where we're going, there are no something like that. We won't need them. There's a funny line in Back to the Future. You guys probably never saw that because
I've seen it.
because he loves movies. All right. So next question I have, not automotive, and that what new jobs are likely to pop up? Right, because AI is going to take out a lot of jobs.
Michael.
It's going to take a whole hell of a lot. Let's see what I have here. Drivers for cabs, right? For transporting, for trucks, transporting goods, right, on ships and things like that. And a bunch of robots and things that like don't make human error. Pilots, right? Those jobs are going to go away. Writers, a lot of that's going to go away. Right? Actors. First of all, you know how much writing is done? You know how much writing is done right now by AI? Okay, most of the articles that you read online are generated. Okay,
copyright. Yeah.
Okay, a lot of that's going to go away. But then let me ask you a question. Okay, imagine you were a location scout for a movie 40 years ago. Okay, now they're just like, yeah, we're just going to shoot in the studio and we'll take care of the location. Now, there's still an art to doing the location, but realistically, you can go a hell of a lot more cool places and make up places.
But see, the movie industry is very independent from the whole will AI change it forever. But that depends entirely on people currently in the.
Let me ask you a question. If you can't tell the difference whether something's on location or CGI, do you care?
Yes.
If you don't know, you can't tell.
But see, you certainly can tell.
Now, some of it. You know when you can tell when CGI, when it's CGI, when it's bad. Okay? When it's good CGI, you have no idea.
No, you can tell because you can tell by the structure of things. Like, have you watch these actors in these films and just watch how little they interact with the environment? That'll tell you.
Here's my point: is I'm always surprised when I see something that's filmed on a stage or green screen, something like that. Not always. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, Green Lantern, the worst movie ever. You know the original Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds, worst movie ever. It was all CGI. It was terrible. But here's my
I like it.
But here's my point though: is that now when you can't tell that an actor isn't a real person. Which, by the way, I just watched Black Mirror, and they had this one guy who he's an actor, but he's like 45 years old, and they had his like 20-year-old self the whole time.
Yeah. What's that movie called?
Well, we need more information about what's that movie called. Gemini Man, right? One of the actors was entirely CGI. So here's my point, though, is if we're already watching stuff where the actors almost all CGI. The consumers, and here's what it's going to come down to, is the consumers won't care. Now, you might care,
no, they will.
But if they don't know,
they will.
They already don't know. Okay?
Yeah, they do. Well, me, I just found out like 8 years ago.
Remember, we had a conversation a while ago about this very thing. This isn't what's happened to that one thing we were talking about. Something that seems human, looks human, is presented as human, but like as a human, it's not. Well,
that's now you're entering the conversation of the uncanny valley, which is where you have like a robot that looks humanoid, is very close, but like something's creepy about it.
Yeah, right?
But I'm talking about as well. I'm talking about stuff that you wouldn't. What I'm telling you is I have a critical eye for this stuff. I'm constantly surprised to learn that I'm watching CGI. Point being is that if I'm surprised to learn, means I don't know until I learn. If I don't know and I'm trying to look for it, most people aren't trying to look for it, are never going to know. So the point is, acting's going away. Most acting, okay? Because why wouldn't you phone it?
I don't think that's going away.
No, you know why? Because Tom Cruise hangs off of real planes, which, by the way, is 70% CGI anyways, because all this artificial background. Because Tom Cruise does it, most other people don't. Okay? Yeah, you have one Tom Cruise. Also, he's 60-something years old.
Yeah.
Okay? And somebody who's 25 years old getting into acting, realizing he doesn't have to jump off a horse, off the wing of a plane.
Don't underestimate people, though. That's just, that requires you to believing that requires you to just write off all of humanity.
You're trying to save an entire industry. I'm telling you, it's going away. I'll give you another one. You're right.
You're literally just saying people are lazy.
I got another one. Piano instructors.
Why?
Because why are you going to hire somebody to come to your house and you can just sit there on YouTube or some app and teach you to play the piano? I'll bet you. Sorry, what were you going to say?
say better law jobs to be a nutritionist. Honestly, bro, I sat down and I was like, I'm excellent weight, 200 pounds. I want to get to 280, right? What can I do? This is my workout regimen. This is my diet. What can I cut out? What supplements can I take? Dude, and honestly, from start to finish, I told him what time I wake up and what time I sleep. And told him every single thing I should be doing. Or what
So why would you pay a nutritionist?
exactly.
If all their knowledge is public, ChatGPT or any other AI can pull it up. So
That is just gonna kill the human experience.
and that's what I'm getting to. So there's gonna be other jobs that pop up, but there's gonna be a vast amount of jobs that are eliminated. What do you think?
I'm thinking the question is here: what jobs? I'm thinking more engineers for the AI, especially for specific categories. Going into like
Engineers?
yeah, going into health, right? Going into action movies, right? Things like that. There'll be specific engineers for it. I don't think there's just gonna be one. Imagine just me, a realistic broker saying, write me a movie for 2026. That's gonna be different. But if there's a specific engineer for writing movies, there'll probably be a job. Yeah. Right? I don't think AMC or I'm not sure which production company, something like that, they can solve it. They're not gonna hire me. They're gonna hire a specialized engineer who does that.
Yeah, the problem is gaining all that knowledge, all the schooling, all the experience. By the time you have it,
But that's my next
you're
job.
going to, it's all going to be outdated.
That's my next job. Have you seen all these people who are like, join my server, my Discord server, and I'll teach you how to do copyright. There's gonna be people doing that. There's gonna be companies doing that. Because right now, like I said, most companies they don't want college degrees, but they want this experience, right? They want. If there's a spot that I can pay $50 a month, or now with these coding companies, right, you just join them for like $6,000 for a full semester, and it teaches you and it gets you a job. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's my point. You're doing a lot of job.
AI dealers.
AI dealer?
AI dealers. Like a drug dealer, but for AI.
They're
I
selling
got
you.
this one that's good at
Oh well,
planes.
here's what's going to here's what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of AI that is illegal or off hands for regular humans.
Yeah.
Because it's too sophisticated.
Cybersecurity AI.
So you
AI that
So
engineers will protect.
a couple of things. We're halfway through the episode. So Ross shared the actual quote. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Great line. Because of course they have flying cars. We have our bar trivia question for the last episode. I will read you the bar trivia. You guys tell me if you think you have the answer. And the question is: an Irishman, Joe Malone, relocated his wife and his 5 children to the Adirondacks several years ago. The youngest, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old, are the sweetest and are looked after by the middle child. Given the 2 eldest are teenagers, they are strong in helping build the mountain homestead with their father. One night at a pub in town, after a few beers, Joe mentioned that half his children are boys. He wasn't lying. How can that be? How can you explain that in logical terms? One more time. Joe Malone relocated with his wife and 5 children to the Adirondacks several years ago. The youngest, a 2-year-old and 4-year-old, are the sweetest and are looked after by the middle child. Given the 2 eldest are teenagers, they're strong and they're helping build the mountain home and the homestead, which is like a house where you kind of live off the land. One night in the pub, after a few beers, Joe mentioned that half his children are boys, and he wasn't lying. How can you explain this in logical terms? Joe Malone relocated his wife and 5 children to the Adirondacks. How are half of these children boys?
One's trans.
One is trans?
What year is this? Kids or something.
I told you he has 5 children, half are boys, and the reason half are boys is because all 5 are boys.
That's what I was going to say.
Both halves are boys.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
A little bit of a trick question. Sorry for that one. All right, let's move on here, and I want to talk to you guys about houses and homes, apartments or houses. What's different about give you a heads up of our conversation we're talking about today. I was talking about my smart faucet. So hopefully that's triggering this device over here. What I can say to my faucet, actually I don't say to the faucet, I just say it when it happens. I say, Alexa, ask Malone to dispense 2.5 cups of water at 110 degrees. And then she will say, let me run the water to warm it up. When the water stops, wave your hand over the faucet to dispense 2.5 cups of water at 110 degrees. How wild is that?
That's fun.
Okay. I can also say, Alexa, preheat the upper oven to 400 degrees. Yeah.
You just tell your house what to do.
Yeah, Alexa, make a pot of coffee, and then she'll say, how strong, how many cups.
Can I sell your house?
So with that in mind, how our house is different. What's going to change? I mean, we already have. When I come home, I can have the lights go on, right? I have automated lights that go on in different rooms. So
Door locks and doorbells are fucking gone.
door locks and doorbells are gone.
Out of here. There is no more me opening this door. My house is going to recognize that I'm here, or my family's here, or someone I invited to
it
here.
already. I have.
Does it unlock?
So I can.
That's what I'm saying. No,
I don't do this because I often drive by my house in my regular commute, and it would happen just because of proximity. But I could set it so that when I get home, excuse me, the the garage door opens and the door unlocks and the lights come on and the music starts playing.
without you doing anything.
Don't do anything.
Oh,
Because proximity, it knows I'm home.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, an apartment. my apartment here. I changed all the light switches to smart light switches, so you can just say turn on the light, right?
I see that. I see more.
But that's here already. What I'm saying is, what's changing down the line?
Well, it's been here. Like if you had like $100 million and lived on Fifth Avenue, you had a doorman. What do you think?
So, but there's also some things that I'm sorry, because you're honest, I mean, don't forget it. I just want to address the doorman thing. There's some things that won't change. Okay, so you could have a hotel, right, or a luxury building, and say, it's going to save us a load of money, right? It's going to save us $75,000 a year jobs. Let's take all these doormen out, right, and just have automatic doors. Right? Now you could do that, and some places do it, but guess what? It takes away from the experience. So there's some things that won't change just because we like them.
Yeah.
Right? What were you about to say about houses?
I'm saying I think it's different. I'm talking about construction. Just how would it be different?
Well, that's above my pay grade. But no, construction will certainly change. Materials will change. They've changed quite a bit over the last 100 years.
I'm seeing how they printing out their own houses.
Yeah. We basically 3D printing houses by pouring like concrete and kind of silly.
I guess all those jobs could go away.
Could that be impossible in the next 15 to 20 years, especially in New York City?
So Rosh has got a good one. I could definitely see anything that's like tall could easily be 3D printed, right? Because anything with a smaller footprint, because the wider the footprint of the house or building, the bigger the 3D printer or more mobile the 3D printer has to be to get around and actually print. But if it's this building, you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. So what Rosh just mentioned was refrigerators that self-replenish, which I think, did you make a comment that exist already? They already exist. So So
we order the same amount of Sprite or Coca-Cola that you want at all times in your fridge. Go automatically from the grocery store.
well, I think
Cool. Imagine if they just confirmed order and like, I only have 2 Cokes left. Let me get them tomorrow. And it comes 3 packs already ordered.
I need to. They do it already. They do it, yeah.
Yes.
So one thing about my oven that I don't like is there's no cameras inside. I want to be able to see what's going on in my oven. So that's something I think we'll see
Actually,
in the
yes.
future.
Yes.
And then also, so my oven actually has little sensors that you can just put in your food. You stick in a potato, you stick in a piece of meat, and it will tell you when it's cooked. And then also it has all pre-settings for everything. Any food that you can cook, it's just preset to you stick a little electrode in there, and it does it. But I would like a camera in my oven.
Or you don't have to do that. You put the food in the oven and it recognizes what it is, the proper way to cook it, and it'll just ask you how you want it.
So Back to the Future, they had I think they had a pizza like this. They put it in the microwave, and it was a rehydrator. right? So and then the whole pizza came out of that. So, but what else? So, Ross just talking about how nice Jordan out because it help you weigh down a cab, they'll help you carry your groceries out of a cab, right?
But who says technology in the future? We need a real person, right? Have you seen these robots now? Like people are using these AI robots and actually just you saw like, a live stream some guy working with an AI robot and it's just like carrying its bags and things like that. Next thing you know, there's a virtual doorman or AI robot doorman doing all that. And it's like, oh, it's 7:30. Why is Raj not downstairs? Then you call him, make sure he's okay. Hey, Raj, you're not down here at 7:30. It's Thursday. Everything okay? And Raj is like, oh, I'm working from home today. Gotcha. Are you working from home every single day? Or just Thursday? No, every other week.
I do another one though, is voice commands, which haven't yet really. They were saying 5 years ago, that voice command is going to be everything. Like if you're not the top recognized, I need Alexa, I need a real estate agent. Siri, I need a real estate agent. Hey Google, I need a real estate agent. If you weren't there by like 2025, your business wouldn't exist. I'll tell you one thing, nobody's doing that shit. I'm at home. In every room we have multiple Alexa devices. You don't hear me saying, "Where should I get pizza?" Yeah. And also, I'll tell you another thing, and I'm way surprised about the lag on this. Is the Alexa and Siri intelligence is not like using? It's not as conversational. Like it's not. Yeah. There's no personality. If you ask Siri something, she gives you the same fucking responses.
Well, I think that's going to change. That was one thing for home interior-wise, and exterior was construction. It's going to change. You end up the Irishman movie, and Jarvis is talking.
Yeah, it's like a real person.
Yeah, I honestly see that
I
happening.
mean, I had Alexa in my house since 2018, I think. And she, like you say, good night, and that Alexa, good night, turns off all the lights in the house. But and then you have the option for them to like say Alexa to say something back to you. She usually says one of the same 3 phrases, which I'm just like, excellent. Rosh has got another good point about something that can make. So here's one: is my kitchen sort of state of the art, I guess. 4 years old, 3.5, 4 years old, but I can't cook anything. I'm the chef. Pretty soon, as long as you have the right ingredients in stock, your house is going to be able to make that food.
It's already $6,000.
Well, there you go, $6,000 robot can make your food for
you.
you.
That's the thing. The robot will come in. Next, we're going to search on real estate with like, you'll have Gerald, your AI robot, that will customize your own living habits, and they'll prepare your favorite meals, order your things you need, so you can make the right house.
Here's the thing about all this stuff in the house, though, is that it's all connected. Right. So I have a toaster and a refrigerator. You guys good over there? Yeah. I'm good. All right. I got a toaster. I got a refrigerator. I got an oven, coffee maker. They're all the same brand, so they can all communicate between themselves. The toaster doesn't really do much.
Just toast.
Right. The oven's pretty cool, but the sink is a different brand. The stovetop, different brand. Pretty soon, they're all going to be able to intercommunicate, and they'll all be able to work with. I mean, they all work with Alexa. She can control them individually. They don't work together. There's going to be some cohesive software. I'm really struggling now thinking what's going to change with houses like 15 years from now. Locks, locks are going to disappear. I mean, there'll still be a locking mechanism, but it's not going to be a lock and key. Like the fact that you
won't even touch the lock.
I have a key. I bring it with me every single day. I think I've used it once in our office.
I don't think you'll be able to lock and unlock your own goddamn door.
Why? You recognize it? Yeah, they still have a key.
No, I don't think so.
As a backup, maybe.
My dad just installed this thing for a fingerprint. So he's like, I'm tired of all your brothers and your mom using the keys all the time, and it's costing money. Like every weekend you lose his keys. Just turn that up. He goes, I gotta request something. Measure your fingerprint.
You need to check our deadlock here. It's just an app.
Really?
Yeah.
Same thing here. It's that.
But it looks like a regular deadbolt. So you can still stick a key in and turn
Same
it.
thing.
You would never know.
So one of my close friends, her dad's this big tech guy, right? He's currently building. Well, he's done building it now, and it's centered around AI. So what it was is basically a concierge that virtual concierge. So he sold it to a bunch of people that are using it for events. When you go to a hotel or you go to an event, you check in, your name is on the list, like you're in the system, you have access. That thing scans your skeleton from like the back of the room and IDs you and grants you access or not. Nobody's standing there checking you in. I'm saying that would be applicable to houses, whereas like you get out of your car and your little house AI says, "There's Justin, door unlocked." You don't have to do that. You go inside, door locked as soon as you're within the parameters.
Well, you get out of your car with your phone, and your house knows that your phone is now close to the house.
No,
So, like pretty soon, devices like phones are going to disappear.
that's what I'm saying. So imagine someone who does not have a phone that your house can recognize. It's not
Well, it's going to have to be familiar with that person's skeletal profile.
Shit. What's that guy? What's the chips in the brain?
All right, so you guys can't think of anything.
Information that they all
You guys
have
can't think
already.
about anything changing about houses,
I think your
the building is going to change.
the construction, right?
your level of control over the house will change. Like the physical design of the house, that's up to who it's always been up to.
What about geothermal heat? So I had oil, I switched to gas, and then gas got really expensive also. I should have just spent the money on fucking geothermal heat. I could do electric. I would prefer electrical heat with solar panels.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Although I don't think solar panels can quite hold the load for the heat. And also, when do you want the heat? When it's January and it's 2:00 in the morning and it's 11 degrees outside. Guess what doesn't work at 2:00 in the morning? Solar panels, because the sun.
Yeah, but also.
The sun is important.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some technology that
Yeah.
give out the entire full.
So I will tell you one thing I think is going to change about houses is they're going to be much more self-sustaining and independent and off-grid.
I don't think that's going to be a fault of AI, though. There are other developments in science that are causing that. Like, they've now found something that can allow them to create nearly infinite energy. It's almost a natural resource.
You have to. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be cool. Imagine.
It's like a fission reaction.
I love imagine.
They can harness the power and energy of the fission or fusion reaction.
Imagine your shingles, your fault.
Yes.
It tells you this amount of peat, this amount of shingles fell. Order a new one, or order someone to come by and fix it.
A more self-aware house.
That'll be cool.
So they have things that you can put on your water, so it'll tell you if you have a leak.
Yeah.
You know how much water you're using. All right, I want to move.
Yeah.
I want to move forward here.
Yeah.
We have not covered much. What's illegal in the future that's perfectly normal now? Now, I'll lead with meat. Okay, we will get technologically where we can create meat that you're not going to know is a difference. Okay, and right now most of the fake meat that's like real meat uses a lot of resources to make. Like the issue with cows is one, they consume a lot of resources and they produce a lot of methane. Okay, that's actually one of the more major causes of global warming, supposedly, is cow farts. Seriously. And then we kill them, right, which kind of sucks. So when you have, right now they have fake meats, but they also use more water and aren't good for the environment. So the question is, at a certain point, fake meat's going to be more prevalent. At some point in time, real meat is going to become illegal. I just can't. Like when most people are eating fake meat and it's cheaper and more sustainable.
I don't think maybe who knows? Who knows, right? But I think also what's going on. Kate just said, angle red and two guys.
Food guys, yeah.
All those things are going to be well.
I mean, they're banning them. It's illegal, effectively.
Yeah, it's illegal.
Anything that we've decided causes cancer. So here's the thing: we are used to those things. Our generation, me more than you guys, because I'm way older than you.
Yeah. No idea.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's not the gray hair. But the idea of living without those things, meat, right, alcohol, pretty soon, alcohol is going to be banned on flights. I can't imagine taking a flight without being like, fuck that, like, right?
Yeah, so I think also that ultra processed foods.
You're saying you can bring your own alcohol.
Well,
So you can.
they don't want drunk people on the planes. Though.
Switch class with another passenger.
Well, so that I don't think that would be
It's
allowed
not your own.
because they already don't want you to bring an open bottle or any liquid on a plane. So what other things are going to be? I think anything detrimental to your health is going to be illegal.
We just talked
I don't know,
about
but like-
everything during electrical, fossil fuels, gas, and everything. Is that
Humanity should have learned to start their own.
searching
Do you think gasoline vehicles are going to be illegal?
or anything that we own that uses gasoline or fossil fuels or anything like this?
Illegal.
That I can see.
Or you pay tax on it. So you pay tax. Not only do you have to buy the gasoline, you got to pay tax to have a gas vehicle.
There are new climate laws coming up.
But, like,
things interesting.
Things that harm our bodies or harm us when it is illegal. Like we should have looked at the war on drugs and realized that banning things just doesn't work.
What about hate speech?
That doesn't work either.
What about hate speech?
This is
Right now, it's frowned upon. It's bad. You can get in trouble.
ban and illegal are flawed concepts because that immediately assumes that everybody is going to be okay with you telling us what we can and can't do. That is why crime exists.
But crime is illegal. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is what's going to be illegal. So what you're saying is it still happens. Yes, it does. And it's still going to continue to happen 30, 50 years from now.
Meat gets rendered illegal. I guarantee I find a way to get meat though.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
You know, people are subscribing to AI features. So, like, let's say I have multiple AI. I saw this in Instagram. And this guy called me AI influencer. I feel that's gonna be bad. There's no way. There shouldn't be. That should not be bad. I don't think that should be illegal. Imagine a guy subscribing or a person subscribing to an AI influencer.
I mean, that's just that person's use of their own money.
Still, I feel like the government's gonna come in and go, yeah, let's stop.
But they should.
You think the government's going to eliminate what? AI OnlyFans or AI personalities?
Everything, identity theft, whatever.
Dude, porn's going to be illegal?
No, AI.
I think porn is going to be so prevalent. People are already not having sex. Birth rates are in super decline in most developed nations. Super decline.
Yeah, but
Like not even that replacement value. Right now, you have a couple. The average number of children in the United States is how many per couple?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to search this because I'm. Can you search this for me, Ralph? Average number of children
Okay, but let's go back to that.
per household in the United States.
They won't just be focusing just
I would say 1 to 2.
That's the thing that.
I thought it was 2.2, but I actually think it's less. So if it's 2, that means population stays the same. If it's less than 2, population drops. Sorry, go ahead.
Going back, not just like those fake AI things. I'm talking about more of like identity theft. So now, like you said, there's times ago I call my bank. And they're like, "We're gonna use your voice to confirm it's you, right?" You know these new
What bank is this?
Jeez. All these, these new chats, these new apps, you just download, it's like make it sound like Lone Gray, and we'll send somebody Lone Gray.
So I've got I'm halfway through having my iPhone clone my voice. You just got to read like 1,000 prompts.
Yeah, exactly, bro. That's gonna be bad.
Why would you do that?
I don't think I think it's gonna be way more prevalent.
No, that's gonna be super bad.
Yeah,
Super bad. That'll be the first one to go.
you're a red flag walking.
Like I just said, AI dealers do. I got Justin DiGiulio's voice preloaded on this one.
But that's the thing. You can spoof crawl other people by changing your voice.
Yeah.
That's gonna be that's gonna be.
It's already illegal. You're scamming people.
Yeah,
with
so the AI voice thing is gonna be gone. Imagine like
2.5.
2.5.
We're
We're not gonna decline as much.
decrease from.
My grandma had 9 kids, so from going from 9 to 2.5, that's kind of scary.
9? Your grandma had 9?
Yeah,
we're talking about
so unfortunately passed away, but 7 of them still.
sadly.
All right. All right. If you're going to ban, okay, actually, no. It's the average number of children per household in the United States in 2025. This is giving me 1.94, which is less than 2. which means that the United States population, now accounting for immigration,
Yeah.
is decreasing.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Which, well, that may make sense to you, but that's going to have an impact on housing, right? Imagine you're a house builder, a construction company. You got this neighborhood over here that's full, so you build another neighborhood because you're expecting more
if
people,
you profit,
right?
if you profit from the demand in real estate, you're fucked.
Well,
The way our population is going.
exactly.
You do
So
not need to build anything else.
So most of our generation can't even afford it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what changed.
Most of the transactions I'm doing it is parent purchasing, which is pretty scary.
parent purchasing.
Yeah,
That's a wild.
yeah, because like we are hoping that we know, hoping that we go like in the future, we can't afford to buy homes ourselves.
I know. I think.
That's what I think is going to be.
But that's-
I think it's going to be the opposite.
I actually think because of population decrease, you're going to have so many vacant homes.
You're going to have so much supply.
Yeah, the thing is, but like honestly, I'll tell you this though, during COVID, think about all these single family homes.
Corporations.
These corporations,
Yeah.
all these. Honestly, I'm telling you right now, I'm working with a lot of these venture capitalists buying a lot of multifamilies, things like that. I'm not surprised in the future it's going to be more of these people.
Now, I don't think
But
so
they
because
don't
they're going to become less valuable because even though they're filling in with renters.
Yeah, but honestly, well, not only so because with the current stock market, I've seen a lot of people also calling me and saying, "Hey, I don't want to put my money here anymore. I want to take it and invest in something more safe." What can I do? And it's New York City real estate. So that's
And they're calling that safe.
yeah.
All right, I've got.
Hopefully, they're not watching this podcast.
I've got. We got 8 minutes left. In the future, are people more sedentary?
Yes.
Because obviously you can do a lot more from home. You don't need to commute to school, right? You can watch classes online. You don't need to commute to work because you can work remotely. Don't need to go to the grocery store. I haven't been to the grocery store in a year. No, we just order online.
Can't do that. No way.
You don't need to go to the movies. Movie theater attendance is all time low, right?
That's because movies suck. Not because
Well,
you don't need to
there's
go.
that might be your perspective.
Maybe
So-
when AI comes in, it's going to be cool with everybody.
Okay, so my question is, like, I actually think my life, because I work so much, and I don't work at home, okay? But I sit in the car, I sit at work, I go home, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm lucky if I get a workout in. Now my thinking is, if I have more time in the future, I would be less sedentary. I remember when I found that I had a job that I used to wrap up every day at 6:30. And the job finished at 5, and then I was home by like 5:20, and I would go for runs and like do all this shit with my extra hour and a half that I had every single night. I was way more active. Right? At this point in time, I'm waiting for you to shoot a drop where I can finally have more free time, so I can be more active and less sedentary. But I think a lot of people, kind of the American condition, is the more free time you have, the less you do, the more sedentary you are. So are people in the future more sedentary because everything's at their fingertips, or are they more up and around because they have more free time, they have hobbies they want to pursue? They want to hike, they want to walk outside.
I put that's on the individual, man. You know, some people.
So I don't even type anymore. I just go, hey, how are you? Please let me know once you have the email. Thanks.
So you don't type.
I don't even type no more.
He did it earlier.
Let me ask you a question. Do you send a voice note or do you do voice to text?
I don't want voice.
I hate voice
I hate
notes.
voice. Why do I want to hear a 30-year-old man's voice? Right? Why?
Also, the thing is, you have to listen to it. Like, if I'm on a train or
Yeah,
something and it's quiet, like, I don't want to have to play your fucking. Luckily now it does transcribe with the text, but it's not accurate.
You know what's cool? When I have my AirPods in the subway, they say, Justin DiGiulio texted you saying, hey, great, how are you?
First off, it doesn't say that because I never text it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should. I'm sorry.
As an example, if someone texts me,
Somebody else, one of your clients, because you get a lot of those.
one of my clients or one of my friends who call me, so text me, they'll say, Justin said, how are you? What are you doing this Saturday? Let's hang out. It'll be like, oh, okay, cool. And I'll say yes to respond. I'll say yes. Hey, Justin, I'm all good, man. How are you?
I've been doing that for more than a decade now. So ever since Siri came out, riding around on the motorcycle, and I could just push that little button and then send the voice to text. Siri say, "What do you want to say?" And I'd say, "Tell him I'm on the motorcycle. I'll be there in 15 minutes!" Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Been doing it for a while.
But that's something that can, but
At least, yeah. Siri.
well, that's something that I've been implementing, and it's going to save me so much more time.
We're not getting into all of this. We're not getting into all of this. There's no way. We get it. So we're probably going to end up with drugs. I think if we even have time for that, we're going to end up with drugs. We're going to end up on drugs. This conversation, it all ends up on drugs. So what are your thoughts, Jorge, when you're finished with your voice to text or text to text or finger to typing? People are more or less sedentary and more.
It'll be more sensitive. Why? I'm already doing work now. Keeping that's fun. That kind of puts me in the spot. I'm using it for have more free time, so I can actually do something else. Work.
And what are you doing in your free time?
It's just in the spot.
I'm in the pool hall, man.
I'm at the gym.
Pool hall is sport. Gym is not sedentary. I would be in the gym for hell. I mean, I squeeze my fucking workouts in, and I don't start working out until 10 o'clock at night. I don't have time in the morning. I don't have time. But in my free time, I'm active. But I just got upset. Somebody told me it was going to rain this weekend. I'm like, damn, I took down the biggest tree last weekend. This thing was like, must have been this. I'm not joking. It was like this big. It was windy as hell. And I was like, oh, man. It was a day and a half. But now I have to chop it up. And I already sawed most of the branches off, and I got to carry them all out to the woods.
Even just.
But it was going to be raining all weekend. I'm kind of screwed. And so you think people are more sedentary, even though in your free time you'd like to work out, and you think people are going to be more sedentary, even though in your free time you play pool?
No. I think people.
Because that's what I'm saying. You would think people would be more sedentary.
I think they're going to be much less sedentary. There is a lot of shit that people want to do. They just never have the time to do it. Now that they have this, like think about it, like the reason you're sitting around on your ass all the time, it's more likely because you're tired versus you not being able to go, not wanting to go do something. If I'm sitting down, it's because my feet hurt.
Most of the people now are working from home. It's pretty cool. It was surprised me. I actually went to show the client when I was there, but it was a $3.5 million property. And I was like, hey, do you have time to see it on Tuesday at 1 o'clock? She goes, yeah, I work from home. I can ditch my office or my home office for an hour and a half. Let's set up these as well and send me no phone. I'm like, wait a minute. So you're working, but you're not working, and you're seeing properties? Like, and I was like, you can afford
So
it.
at work, yeah, you have a job where you can ditch for a couple hours and be still at work.
And
I got
making enough to afford a $3.5 million.
I gotta hit our bar trivia question before we run out of time. We got 2 minutes left. This is a cool question. Requires a little bit of thought, but it's an easy question. Okay, Professor Quantum was visiting his sister when his young nephew Theory showed him a list of American presidents in order. As Quantum looked at the list, his nephew mentioned that of the first 5 presidents, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and James Monroe, of those first 5, 3 of them died on July 4th, America's Independence Day. Theory looked at the list and said, I'll bet you that one of them was James Monroe. Quantum was surprised that Theory knew this, since Theory had no knowledge.
You'll need to download one.
Oh, we're still here. Thank you. Since Theory had no knowledge of how or when James Monroe died, how could he have been so sure that he was one of the 3? Read it one more time, then we're up there. Don't answer because the answer off there. Professor Quantum was visiting his sister when his young nephew Theory showed him a list of all the American presidents in order. As Quantum looked at the list, he mentioned to Theory that of the first 5 presidents, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and James Monroe, 3 of them died on July 4th, America's Independence Day. Theory looked at the list and said, I'll bet one of the 3 was James Monroe. Quantum was surprised that Theory knew this. Since Theory had no knowledge of how or when James Monroe died, how could he have been so sure that James Monroe was one of the presidents who died in the war. With that, thank you for joining Sip Talk podcast. Visit SipTalkPodcast.com. Buy us a drink. Subscribe to the podcast. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you, Rome. Thank you, Rush.
Thank you, man.
SipTalkPodcast.com.